November 2020, NASA started their inaugural GT America season. Over the course of 6 races, 52 drivers took to the track from places like Daytona, Watkins Glen, Laguna Seca, and more. We saw 4 different winners over the course of the season, with only Ray Kingsbury able to go back-to-back. In the end, it came down to championship night in Daytona, where after much deliberation and rules clarifications, Kingsbury won it on a tiebreaker over Renova Racing's Ivan Pandev. This season, we'll see changes to the format, we'll see some new faces, but most importantly, we'll see some incredible racing. We start things out tonight from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin at Road America. It's a 4.4-mile road course with some strong passing zones, sweeping corners, and interesting names. Like Carousel, Canada Corner, and we're not going to hurry up, we hurry downs. It's a beautiful day here in Wisconsin where we see some of those familiar faces like Clog, Kingsbury, Ragster, Pandev, and more, and they'll take on some newcomers like Challoner, Novak, and LaPrade. We'll also have some new teams on the grid. Sure, Spark is still there, both with Last Lap Motorsports as well as their new partnership with Lambert Motorsports Technology. Renova is back as well, but you can't look over Jimmy Mullis and Zach Novak teaming up with Richmond Raceway Esports. Only time will tell how this season will play out, but we're excited to have track action once again to bring you. For ASN TV, I am Chad Irvine. I'm in the booth here with Mike Berry, and as always, our producer is Victor Vallee. Man, it's going to be a great season here, Mike. Taking a look at some on-track action right now, and man, these cars, we've got GTE and GT3 cars, and they're just flying around this Road America circuit.
Yeah, I mean, we're really seeing the strength of the Road America circuit right now. Such a fast track, very natural, a lot of grass, not as much of the European style where you see a lot of concrete, and you're seeing a lot of elevation changes. Like, this is really, people call it the greatest racetrack in North America, and it's very hard to disagree with the race, with the driving we're seeing and what we're probably gonna see tonight.
You know what? I'm gonna have to disagree with the greatest racetrack. It might be the greatest natural road course, but my home track of Indianapolis Motor Speedway is going to take top spot for me. But anyway, talking about some of these cars on track, we mentioned some names. We've got 3 current or former Coke Series drivers. We talked about them in the intro, and just overall, we've got a great talent field here. Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on first glance looking at it. There's a lot of guys here who I recognize and I know are going to be competitive in this series, but we also have a lot of guys who I don't know, and those are the ones I always look for, because they're able to prove to me that, hey, I'm capable of beating all the guys who are household names in sim racing, and I think we're going to see those guys really step up to the plate tonight and see if they can make the name for themselves.
Taking a look at your weather here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Air temperature 77 degrees with a track temp of 108. Winds out of the south-southwest at about 7 miles an hour. That's going to be pushing basically at your back as you come through the carousel and down the back straightaway. Certainly a fun track to look at here. The humidity is relatively low as well, so that's going to play into these drivers' hands. Michael Janney sets your first time in qualifying there, and he runs a 2:01.3, but there is still plenty of time, still 5 minutes to go here in qualifying.
Yeah, we get 3 laps to qualify in this, which is a bit different from how iRacing normally does it with 2. So we're going to see guys get their tires nice and warm. I think we're going to see guys in the mid to low 2s, maybe mid to low 201s. I don't know, maybe. Hopefully we can see some really fast times down the 2s, the 2.8s and 2.7s.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple guys, you were there for one of the interviews as well, talking about the schedule coming up this year. I mean, it's a completely different. We had 6 races on 6 different American-based tracks. This year, we're going international, go north of the border with Canadian Tire Motorsports Park next week. Lone Star Grand Prix from Circuit of the Americas in a couple weeks as well. The one that I've heard every driver that I've talked to mention is February 4th, 3 weeks from now, the Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos. We have a very vastly different week-to-week schedule here in the NASA GT Americas presented by Simracer Coin, and we are set for just a fun entire season of racing.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of a lot of diversity in the tracks we run, even though we are sticking to one hemisphere. I think definitely adding tracks such as Mosport and Interlagos are going to help us. We're going to expand. The series is going to be able to, go to a lot of different tracks with a lot of elevation, which is, I know I talk about that a lot, but it really does help the race now. And even then, we have a couple wildcard races in. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have Long Beach on here, so that's it's a street circuit, so that's going to be very different for drivers compared to like Road America, where you have tons of runoff and it's very fast instead of a tight technical circuit like that.
A series like this would not be possible without all of our amazing sponsors. We've got Simracer Coins sponsoring the Pro Driver Championship, Red Kite with the Am Driver Championship as well. Spark Virtual Racing sponsoring our team championship. Thank them for coming back on for a second season, as well as in the amateur team championship being iDrive Sim Training. Also got some great sponsors for some of the events as well, from Renovo and Apex Technology to our Designs Grand Prix once again, this time at Mid-Ohio, as well as CubeCast Championship Night on March 18th. We've got 10 incredible weeks of racing coming up, and we are going to have a fun one, especially now that we have 2 separate classes running in this series.
Yeah, I want to redirect your attention to the GT3 field. We have Christian Chalonnet setting the fastest lap of a 2:06.106. Shane Sullivan is the closest behind him. He's a 10th off. Everybody else is either a second off, or actually Austin Johnson just at a time of a 2:06.868. So obviously, I think we have 2 clear front runners, but we're gonna have to see until the end of qualifying if that's gonna change.
Yeah, Christian Chandler, one of those drivers that was running formerly in the Coca-Cola Series. He did qualify, if I remember correctly, to run in it this season, but instead he actually decided to take a job with iRacing. So he is not going to be running the Coke Series. He is still going to be running the U.S. Majors. I believe that starts this Sunday. He's going to be running the Majors Series. That is going to be broadcast over on GSRC. You can check out their YouTube channel. We appreciate all of our drivers coming over from different series. Now, Christian in the Majors Series, we've talked about Zach Novak coming over from the Coke Series as well. Drivers coming around from all over the globe. We've got some Americans, we've got some Europeans, and we've got some Australians as well. Definitely going to be fun to watch how this international series plays out.
Yeah, and we saw Michael Janney come to the end of. I'm watching him come to the end of his lap. He was able to clock in at a time of 2 minutes 0.983. So a little bit off his practice time, but it seems like everybody else is about a 10th off, and even then, like third place again is half a second off of Savion Ragster. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that name right. Apologies if I'm not.
You are not. It is Savion, and he does forgive you because we butchered his name as well as his teammate Ivan Pandev way too much last year.
Yeah, Savion Ragster, who and there we go, Ray Kingsbury, I believe someone higher up in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. He's also the defending champion from last season.
Yes, defending champion. He just put in a time to put him third in GTE. So hopefully we'll see if he can put a fight. But he still is a little bit off Michael Janney and Savion Ragster.
Yeah, Ragster and Kingsbury. If you were with us last season, those names sound very familiar because that was the drama at the end of last season. Your drivers' championship last year came down to those two. In the very last race at the Daytona road course, they ended up when the checkered flag flew, it was Savion Ragster by 1 point, and on a penalty to another driver, it actually gave Ray Kingsbury 1 extra point. And I believe it was the 4th tiebreaker that it came down to. They had the same amount of wins, the same amount of podiums, the same amount of points. I believe it came down to best overall average finish in the feature races. So definitely a tight battle between those two, and that's going to continue here this season.
Yeah, it's one of those finishes you only dream of to end the season, when, especially in this era of where we have either guys running away with it, or you have someone like NASCAR who's just changed the format to encourage that. I think when it happens naturally like that, it's just incredible to see.
Michael Janney, your pole sitter for today's race, the sprint race, actually. We have a 15-minute heat race after 10 minutes of qualifying. And then after that, we'll have a warm up for the drivers to get used to the higher fuel load, as then we get set for the 45-minute feature. But Janny on pole finished 6th last season for his team of Master Class Performance Racing.
That, Janny. Thanks.
And then if we look into our second spot, we have Xavier Raxter. Obviously, we talked about him. I think hopefully those two will get along well, and see how good of a race they put on in this sprint race.
And looking further down the field, for the GT3 class, Christian Challoner took the pole there, as we mentioned, and then Shane Sullivan, Anthony Abreu, and Jimmy Mullis, your top 4. Austin Johnson, Peter Houston, and Brandon Lambert further down in that field. So definitely some names all throughout this field. One thing to note, the way that the classes were determined actually goes back to results from last season. The top 10 were automatically invited to the pro category, the GTE class. And then from then on, the next 5, I believe, were based on merit from last season, and 5 more were given essentially wild card entries to this pro, is what they're going to call it, the pro class in the GTE cars. The AM class.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think that provides a lot of incentive for guys to perform well. I think the GTE series, I think, is where we're going to see the pinnacle of competition, not disrespecting the GT3 guys. But if we got guys always pushing to get up there, then I think we're going to see great racing down the lower class, and we're going to see great racing in the higher class.
And further down in the field there, in the 23 car, is Flynn Lazier. That last name might sound familiar. If I remember correctly, he is the son of, if you're a fan of IndyCar racing, Buddy Lazier. So there is some history in that family name. So great to see him take the field today. One driver did not, in the GTE class, did not set a qualifying lap. That is Thomas Keene. He's got to work his way through this GT3 field, try to get to the front. He will have his black flags wave, and you'll get everything taken care of there. But yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how this entire race plays out. 2 classes of cars. If you look at your timing at the top of your screen there, green indicates one of the drivers in the pro class under their name. The red indicates the AM category in the GT3s.
Just looking at our front row, I've realized we have a 1-2 lockout of Renovo Racing drivers. Michael Jenny and Sabian Raxter are, teammates. They might look slightly different, but they're both Renovo Racing, and I think are we gonna see any team orders, or are we gonna see just hard racing between the two like it doesn't even matter? I think that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, that Renovo team was fast all last season. I believe they came second in points to one of the multiple Spark teams that we saw, and we are definitely looking forward to seeing how both of those teams play out in the Drivers' Championship in the pro category. And of course, that is sponsored this season by Simracer Coin.
As we're coming through now to the carousel, probably one of the best parts of the track, in my opinion. It's so hard to get right, and you have to really, you never know when you want to get on or off, because you always want to get the run going down to the kink and then to kettle bottoms. So just really a great set of corners right here.
One of my favorite parts about these tracks sometimes is the corner names. You can definitely make some jokes about them. I saw something about Canada corner not being American enough, and they renamed that. Or the carousel was too French, so they decided to rename it to the merry-go-round. You can definitely find some interesting track corner names at everywhere that you go. Be fun to watch here at Road America. Definitely a long, winding track, 4 miles in length. They have to wind their way through at a slow 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, one of the worst things about this track is the pace lap, because there's so much anticipation building. It's a 4-mile long race circuit, and you just have to be patient through it all, because that when you get to that line, all bets are off, and it's pure racing, especially in an 8-lap race like this.
Only a couple of corners left to go before they take the green. Any predictions for you here in this 15-minute sprint?
I think it's gonna be a two-way battle in the sprint between Savian and Michael Jenny, but I don't know. When we get to the feature, I'm gonna make my predictions based off of this race.
Yeah, you can never count out anybody here in this series. As they come up the hill for the first time, we are underway in the 2021 NASA GT Americas presented by Simracer coin. And right off the bat, 1-2 for Renovo Racing with Kingsbury slipping back to third.
Now they come to the first corner. They're you see now we had a big gap between the first two, and now it's kind of closed in. And now the pack is right on them. So let's see what they can do coming down the back stretch or middle stretch.
And there was one driver, Thomas Keene, going wide at the entrance of turn number 1, but out front it is Janny and Ragster, and then Kingsbury behind as well. They're single file the first 6-7 cars. Hashimi thought about peeking to the inside of Pandev, and he does not. So further back, basically the entire GTE class seems to have worked their way single file. They're just trying to get a gap. They have a decent gap to the cars behind.
I think this early in the season, especially in the sprint races like this, we're going to see a lot more guys being careful because you don't want to start your season off wrong. So I think for me, until we get to the feature, we're going to see a lot of guys just take it easy, because if they mess up now, then they're in a downward hill going into the next couple races.
And fortunately, you know, it looks like everybody for the most part got off to a clean start. The only one really that we'll have to check in on is Thomas Keene. He ran wide at turn number 1, and looks like he has parked it. Unfortunate for him, but thankfully he does have another warm-up session with the 45-minute feature, and that's where the real points come in. Yes, you do get points. I believe it's for top 5 this season in each of the sprint races with that 5-point inversion as well. As we look through the field, the 1-2 still for Renovo Racing.
Watch Ray Kingsbury. He's starting to make grounds up. I mean, Savian Raxter doesn't seem to be as fast as his teammate, but so maybe he could fall into the clutches of Ray Kingsbury.
Just 2 tires there off the left side for Savian Ragster. As they go through turn number 3 and toward under the tunnel here. Just some great camera work as well by our producer, Victor Vallee. He's done some great work both here in GT and in Rallycross, and we want to thank him for what he's doing all season long.
And now to come towards turn 5 looks like Ray is really getting on. He's only a car length behind now. I don't know if we'll make a run coming up the hill here, but maybe going into the carousel or the kink, he could make that move.
Yeah, he looks to have a lot of straight line speed, but unfortunately can't get the move done. That Corvette is probably it was a car he got really comfortable with last season. It does lack straight line speed compared to the others, but it does have incredible mid corner speed. So if we can get to the inside of Savian Rags, you can definitely get the move. A little further back, though, we'll also have to take a look at our GT3 class. Christian Challenger pulling out a 1-second lead already over Shane Sullivan. And Sullivan into the wall just as I say that. And he collects another car. That was Anthony Burrows.
Jimmy Mullis barely got through that.
Oh, sorry, that was Jimmy Mullis. Yeah, there looks like front end damage there. We'll see if we can't take a look at that. The front right of his car is entirely torn up. Just unfortunate there. As I believe that was Sullivan, he immediately toes back to the pits, and he just lost it coming out of the corner, got into the inside wall, and you really have to feel for him there.
Yeah, just a tough set of luck there. He was doing pretty much everything right. He was sitting there comfortable. He was about to make him. I think he had just gotten passed by Anthony Burrows, but it looks like he was going to try and make that move back. And then unfortunately I don't know if we'll call it a race ender because we do still have the feature here, but seems like he's going to have some work to do when he gets to that.
You hate to call it the commentator's curse, but just as I say Shane Sullivan running P2, he ended the back end stepped out on him. Just unfortunate for him. You really have to feel he put on a strong showing in qualifying and was doing a great job there in P2 up until that moment. Jimmy Mullis currently running second in class, but he's going to have that damage to contend with. Anthony Burrows then behind him with Peter Houston behind as well.
Go back to the overall. We have a great battle for third right here between Blake Reynolds and Ray Kingsbury. They're side by side coming into turn 5. Sabian Ranks are just barely ahead.
Yeah, up the inside is going to be Reynolds. How is that going to look coming into the next corner? Up the hill. And this is not what you want, or this is definitely what you want to see if you're Sabian Ragster, because these guys battling back and forth, that's going to give you an opportunity to gap just a little bit behind.
Yeah, I mean, one person really all he can do is gap right now is Michael Jenny. I mean, he's pulled out to probably a 2-second lead at this point. We're saying 1.7 for me, but I think when we get around there, he's making up a lot of time on these guys. And now, actually, if we're watching him, we're coming up to probably the most difficult part of the track. If you just coming out the carousel, this kink right here, they call it the kink. It's like sometimes you can almost hold it flat out, but sometimes you can't. And you really just got to know that line. And if you do, you'll gain a ton of time coming down Kettlebombs to Canada.
It really is tempting to hold it flat out, but a lot of the time, you get that line just a couple of inches wrong, and you are just going to be sent flying into that wall. And from talking to some of the drivers before the race started, that wall is there for a good reason, because it protects you from those trees.
Yeah, I mean, think of all the incidents we've had with trees in major races. Think back to Le Mans 1999 when there was Mark Webber who went flipping into the trees. I mean, obviously it's a bit incomparable, but trees are definitely something that you don't want to mix with cars.
So Janny with a 2.6 second lead now over his teammate Sabian Ragster. Then he's got a bit of a gap to Reynolds.
Oh wait, no, he didn't. Sorry, my apologies. Ivan Pandev back there.
Yeah, that's Ivan Pandev, their other Renovo teammate. He did a great job running last season as well. So up the top 5 of GTEs is Janney, Ragster, Reynolds, Kingsbury, and Pandev. And then down in the GT3 class, it is Challoner, Burrows, Mullis, Carroll, and Houston. Mullis doing a great job further back in the field there, especially with all that damage on the front right of his car.
Definitely. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought. I thought I saw the bumper come off, and maybe that was one of iRacing's little funky issues where sometimes it'll take a body part off that it doesn't need to. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have as much damage. Obviously, we saw him make contact, but sometimes with these cars, a lot of the downforce is created in the back, so he might just be able to hang on for third here, and I think he'd be very happy with that going into the feature.
Yeah, and if you look just behind Mullis there, you got an interesting battle between Carroll, Mafta, and Houston. Mafta is a GTE, so he should be a faster car, but it looks like he must have had some sort of issue there. He has lost a ton of time to the cars in front of him in class. Oh, and just off track, there was another driver in class. That is Cody Cosgrove. Cody Cosgrove in the GTE class. That's the pro category. He lost it there coming out of that long left-hander.
Ooh, scary. It's tough thing about those fast corners.
And he already had damage. He just lost the back end. It completely stepped around him. No contact with the wall, though, fortunately for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's I'd say he's pretty lucky. He might be able to charge back, get to the front of the GT3s, and hey, maybe if other guys make mistakes, then he'll be able to pick up on that and capitalize.
Yeah, one thing to be aware of there is, as these GTE drivers start getting into trouble on their own or something like that, you still have to contend with an entire field of cars. We have a large field of GT3 drivers there. Christian Challoner able to avoid further back, and look at this up front in the field there. That is the number 1 of Ray Kingsbury and Sabian Ragster now right in front of him. And Blake Reynolds just got around Kingsbury, and Kingsbury going for the move on the outside.
About to say we had a big mover, but unfortunately, Steve Lane, he started in. Wait, no, I got that. Did I get that wrong? Oh, apologies. I guess I got that wrong.
Oh, that's okay.
He's sitting in the pits right now. It looks like that's going to be a bit of a ruin to his chance of winning this one. But it doesn't look like anybody can touch Mike Janney.
on board with Ray Kingsbury. Looking out the back, that is Blake Reynolds behind, and then Pandev and Josh Clogg, as well as Kamal Hashmi right behind. This is a train of 5 cars, nose to tail, as they come around the sweeping right hand. Just incredible racing that we are seeing here at Road America.
Yeah, it looks like Ray was able to get a little bit of a gap there. I don't know if maybe Blake Reynolds made a small mistake, but let's see if him and the rest of that pack can make it up coming through the kink. It looks like Ray took a good line through there, though.
Hopefully I'm not asking too much, Victor, but hopefully we can get a nice shot of the front end of Ray Kingsbury's car. It looks like he has some slight damage to his driver's side front splitter. It looks like it's bent up just a little bit, and these cars are very aero sensitive, so that might be generating some lift that's making his car not handle very well.
If it's not making it handle well, he's obviously not showing it, because he's building up a decent gap between him and Blake Reynolds. But actually, maybe I spoke too soon, because it looks like Blake's got a good run down the front stretch.
And that's Shane Sullivan there in the 091 car. That is a Lamborghini that is a lap down now as the GT3 class. It looks like he must have had some trouble if he is that far behind already.
Yeah.
Oh, and we are getting confirmation he did spin lap number 1, so able to get things going again, and he's pretty far down in the field, but he is the first car 1 lap down, eligible for the lucky dog if we had full course cautions in this series.
Oh, here comes the run. Ray Kingsbury, is he going to have to defend here? No, looks like Blake Reynolds is thinking better of it.
Definitely always want to be thinking about making that move, especially in a short race like this one. About 2 laps to go, I would say. They might be coming to the white flag this time, but we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be about an 8-lap race. 3 laps to go is what I'm being told, and as Kingsbury looks to defend his podium position here in the sprint.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to set him up real well for this feature. I mean, I don't know. Blake Reynolds really would like that 3rd place starting spot. You get a better line coming onto the start, and hey, maybe he can make a move for the lead.
We did talk about how all 5 of these drivers here were under a blanket. Kingsbury on back to Hashmi. There does seem to be a gap about 4 or 5 car lengths now from Reynolds to Pandev, and then right behind him is Josh Clogg, and then he's got a decent gap behind him to Kamal Hashmi. Just about 2 laps ago, those drivers were all nose to tail. So definitely the gaps are growing as drivers kind of get more comfortable, and you see some of these cars come to life.
Yeah, and we're definitely seeing just where the balance of power is for GTE this season, because we have a bunch of Chevys and a bunch of Ferraris, but I think I've only seen 1 Ford this race, so maybe that's a sign that whoever chose the Ford is a little bit of a disadvantage.
There are 6 drivers right now running in that Ford. They are currently running 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th are the first 4 of that, and then they go all the way back to Steve Lane, who is currently 16th in class 36 overall, as well as Thomas Keane, who wrecked first lap and unfortunately is going to be out of the sprint race.
And
those are the Fords looking right there. And those double racing stripes, man, they look really good on that car. That is just a classic look. As going off Cody track Erdman there, and that's Cody Erdman.
And now they're really bunched back up together. Let's see if this car of that Tim Brokaw just passed him. No, that is not. That is Kevin.
Yeah, that is Kevin Fanning there in the number 68. He is running for Matco Tools, it looks like. Both Fanning and Brokaw. Those are teammates.
Very good schemes they've got there. A nice throwback to the Ford GTs that we saw back in Le Mans 1966, and even the ones we saw in 2005. I'd say those actually do remind me more of that one.
Yep, from talking to them before the season, that was 69 was their inspiration for those cars, and they definitely did a great job of pulling it off on these modern looking machines.
Yeah, now we're looking behind him to Cody Erdman. Obviously, he made that mistake there, but I don't know. Can he come back from that? I mean, he would like to have a top 10, I'd assume, if he's sitting. Actually, he's sitting in the top 10. I'd say he'd want to get a little bit better, and now he has a decent chance if he can maneuver this wrap traffic. Only 2 laps to go, I think, in this feature.
Looking up front, this is going to be the white flag up the hill for Michael Janney. He has got a sizable gap to Saving Rags, his teammate out behind. So it's 2 Ferraris followed by 2 Corvettes of Kingsbury and Reynolds.
Indeed, and I don't know who can make the move now. Actually, Saving Rags might have gotten caught up in some lap traffic because there's Ray Kingsbury right to his back bumper.
Yeah, they're definitely starting to come into play. That 72 is just coming out of the pit lane, just trying to make sure he gets, and that's Sean Stratton, and he goes way wide. Thankfully, though, he does get out of the way in time. He does not cause an issue there for some of these leaders.
Yeah, now we're watching Saving Rags. He might have been able to benefit a little bit there, maybe because he didn't see it that well, so, you know, the fear hadn't gotten into him, but Ray Kingsbury lost a little bit of ground there, but maybe he can make it up on the second half of the track.
He's definitely closing up on that back bumper. He does have a no-lift mentality, as we saw from the Kingsburys last night in the NASA Rallycross Challenge, also presented by Simracer Coin. So it looks like it's going to be Michael Janney out front by a long ways, and then Ragster and Kingsbury. Then they got a decent gap back to Blake Reynolds, trying to close in, but can't really make up any ground. And there's Panda right behind, trying to challenge for 4th.
Also back and forth there, yeah. I mean, he might be able to get this run down through the kink if he's able to. Again, you just gotta hold as much throttle through there as possible without hitting that grass on the exit.
Such a difficult corner to get just perfect. Looks like he's able to keep it on track. Clog behind.
Ray Kingsbury right behind him. Watch Ray Kingsbury.
Oh, and getting launched in the air was Pandev. That was lap traffic that we were just talking about.
Ray Kingsbury
and Ragster ended up getting passed by Kingsbury.
I think we're gonna see, will we be able to get him back on this front stretch? I don't know how good the Lambo's front, or not the Lambo, the Ferrari's speed is on a straight line, but I don't know. Lambo's out the way now. It looks like Ray Kingsbury's gonna get away with it.
It's going to be Janney taking the sprint race, and then Ragster and Kingsbury. Blake Reynolds able to, did get some contact, took a lot of damage, but he looks good enough to hold position. And there was just a huge incident, I believe it was Ivan Pandev, that just got sent flying over the catch fence and into the trees.
Yeah, we might need to go take a look at the replay for that.
Further back in the field, though, looks like Christian Challoner. He is going to take his time coming to the line, and oh my, what a race that we just saw. Yeah, out of the final corner he comes, the first winner in GT3 in the NASA Rallycross. Oh my goodness, I am still on last night. The first winner of GT3 here in the NASA GT America's Challenge, presented by Simracer Coin. It's going to be Christian Challoner there in the 78.
Yeah, I mean, both races in GT3 and GTE really weren't close for the leader. I don't know. Hopefully we can see that change. I mean, I think Challoner has a very fast car, but maybe someone else can step up to the plate. I mean, I know Anthony Burrow and Jimmy Mullis, they were not too far away, but they didn't end up having that problem. Like early on with the contact.
Yeah, it looks like overall it is going to be Michael Janney really quick going through your top 5 in each class. GTEs in the pro class, that's Michael Janney, Ray Kingsbury, Savian Ragster, Josh Clogg, and Kamal Hashmi. And Mike, if you want to go ahead and take the top 5 there in the GT3s.
Yeah, I will. We have Christian Challoner finishing 13th overall, but first in class. Anthony Burrows finishing 2nd. Jimmy Mullis, pro driver, finishing 3rd. Peter Hudson finishing 4th, and Taylor Carroll rounding out our top 5.
If I remember correctly, there is a 5-spot inversion in each class. I'm not sure if we're going to see that tonight or not. That was part of.
I believe they scrapped that.
Yeah, we will not see that for tonight's race. That was a part of last season's GT Americas, and hopefully we're going to see some of that later this season if we can get that worked out. But yeah, we talking about our top 5 in the pro category, at least. It was Ferrari, Corvette, Ferrari, Corvette, Corvette. So, oh my goodness, just what a race that we just saw. Unfortunately, we got some trouble there with the lap traffic, but overall, I mean, that went about. It was clean up front, and everybody kind of made it through at least somewhat decently. So, my goodness.
If I'm not wrong, I think we're gonna be. Are we taking a look here at the wreck?
Yep, this is look back just a couple minutes ago there. We're going to kind of fast forward through the entire lap and work our way around because this is Ivan Pandev that we're looking at. We'll see him just get clobbered. I believe it was by a lapped car. I'm not sure if he got collected by somebody else.
Oh, looks like the Corvette got in the dirt. And just,
Yep, and he just gets sent high over the catch fence and just gets caught up on the opposite side.
And we have a. Let's see a camera angle if we can see there. I mean, it looked like just a bunch of air got under the car when he hit him, just launched him right over. Very bizarre.
And real quick, I'm going to see if we can't get a quick word from the winner of the overall. Well, maybe I can't. Let's see if we can't get an interview with Michael Janney of Renovo Racing. Those Renovo Renovo teammates of Janney, Ragster, and Pandev. They were all running top 5 for pretty much that entire race until Pandev got taken out. But they still finished 1-3 for the company there and doing a great job. We've seen them sponsor sponsors in this league for 2 seconds or for 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if that's a sign of what we're going to be seeing in the season, I think Renovo Racing is they're gonna be really good in this. I think a lot of the guys are gonna have to step up if they want to compete with them.
Yeah, from talking to Pandev and Ragster, that is Renovo Racing is their employer, so really great for them getting the company involved, getting them on board. They had an entire virtual watch party last season there for the championship night, and they had a whole Zoom call going. They were all interacting with each other and giving them shout outs on the stream as well. So we definitely appreciate all of our sponsors here in the NASA GT Americas presented by Simracer Coin. So about halfway through our practice session, Christian Challenger really seemed to run away with that. About 5 seconds of a gap there for the win in the GT3 class. And GTE was Michael Janney by 6.5 seconds over Ray Kingsbury and Sabian Ragster in third. Just what an incredible race overall.
Yeah, very. I mean, I think I don't know. I said it before. I just want people to step up, and I think we will see that going into the feature. I mean, long race, a lot more. I think there's more points at stake, so I think a lot of guys are going to really bring their A game. Maybe they were feeling out the track this time. Now they know how it is. They're ready to race.
Yeah, just overall, I mean, what an incredible start. If we're going to see 10 weeks of this, we had a short 6-week season last time. If we get 10 weeks of this, I am just going to be blown away.
Me too.
Let's look there at Clark Archer, one of the newcomers to the series.
Very clean looking Mercedes he's got there. Playing a little bit with the grass there going into the kettle bottom. Well, not the kettle bottoms, the hurry downs, but hey, if it works and he's not on the brakes, I say I'm not gonna blame him. There's Spark Racing to Travis Seymour.
That name might look familiar to you that joined us last season. Travis Seymour was in the booth with me last year. Now, it's 2021. He said, let me drive. Put me in, coach. And there you see him in the Mercedes 144 for Travis Seymour. And what a great guy he is. I know that we all miss him up here in the booth. Yeah, you got some big shoes to fill there, Mike. How you think you're doing so far?
Hope I'm doing well. I mean, I'm having a great time. I've got knocked the ring rust off a little bit.
Oh, we're definitely glad to have you here, and we're set for a good one. With about 30 seconds left in practice, and man, we are just having some fun up here at Road America. I know that in real life, when the IndyCar comes to this track, it's definitely the party atmosphere, and it definitely all the fans seem to be enjoying themselves. hopefully you at home are enjoying as well.
This track is definitely on my bucket list to get to, hopefully within this year, either at the IMSA race or going up to the IndyCar one. I mean, both of them are fine. I mean, we also had some great racing here in IndyCar in real life last year. So again, I've heard it's great. I haven't been there, but looks like a great time on TV.
Yeah, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in both on YouTube. Check us out on YouTube, ASN TV USA, and on Twitch, twitch.tv/ASN TV USA. Make sure you hit the follow, the subscribe, the like button, whatever it is on whatever platform you are watching. And tell your friends, we're here all season, every Wednesday for the next 10 weeks for the Rallycross series, as well as the next this week plus 10 in the GT Americas. So next week we're going to be all set to go with more GT Americas, this time from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, north of the border. And it's going to be a fun one there as well.
I think we're going to see some great racing there. Obviously, a track that has actually remained unchanged since its founding in 1960. It always provides great racing, whether it be with sports cars or with the NASCAR trucks when they make their way up there. Obviously, didn't do that this year, but we might see that again in the future. I think that's gonna provide some great racing for our series, though, especially with how fast and flowing that is and how that suits the nature of these cars.
You see the grid starting to roll away. We've got a couple of minutes here, and oh my goodness, I mean, I've said it enough already, but the field's starting to roll away. We'll see the pro class here working their way through further back in the field, just trying to get up to the grid.
Yeah, and you're seeing right now the GT3s aren't leaving yet. There's been an order for all the GTEs in the who maybe qualified behind the GT3s to move to the front, so we have a more clean thing. Unfortunately, that didn't exactly work out the way we wanted it to with iRacing, but it seems like we figured out a good fix for it.
Making things up on the fly is how things seem to work both here on the broadcast and in the NASA series, and we definitely have the most fun with it.
I think that we figured it out, and we have a solution now, and I think we're going to see all these guys, whether it be in GTE or GT3. Apparently, we have everything figured out according to the admins who are the race control, and I think we're gonna see a great race here, and hopefully, this car ran way off in coming out of turn 3 in GTE, but it looks like maybe that was just a visual error. He might be gone now.
Yeah. Overall, though, I mean, 47 drivers in today's race. That's 5 fewer than we had for the entire season last time through the entire season. We had 52 for the first ever GT America season, and here we have 47 tonight alone in 2 classes.
I think we're gonna see. I think just 2 classes is gonna really help, because multi-class racing always seems to bring out the most unique drivers, because it's all about who can get around lap traffic or who can be the lap traffic in the quickest way possible. I think that really adds a level of strategy when you have, not to be rude, but moving chicanes, and I think it's no better way to say that, because no disrespect, of course.
And there was some heated discussion between drivers about that, and there was something that they went over in the drivers' meeting as well. If you are a slower class car driving on your own, you do need to safely yield your position. But if you're fighting for the lead lap or something like that, you can definitely do your best to hold it. But if you're battling with somebody, that's basically a rolling chicane if you're a GTE car coming up on the M class.
Yeah, I mean, we were dealing with cars that are 6 seconds faster a lap than the GT3, so I guess the message to the GT3s is it's probably best for them that they get out of the way, but we're not going to push you too hard on it. And just look at that field coming into Canada corner. That is magical. Of course, 47 cars. what an amazing field. I mean, we're going to have some great racing all the way through this pack.
Got drivers from all across the globe here tonight, and we are definitely having a great time starting off our season here at Road America. Through the final corner, up front you see Michael Janney on the inside, Ray Kingsbury on the outside, and the pace car set to pull off. He does, and we are green at Road America. Janney off to a great start. His teammate right behind. They coordinated that for sure, as Ragster was right there to get the move done, and he's going to take P2 right out of the gate. GT3 start.
We're back to the GT3 start.
Christian Challenger clean up through the middle.
Oh my God! Obviously, we had damage in the beginning of the sprint. Obviously, his team has gotten that fixed, and now he's right on the bumper to class leader. Up front, we have going under the Sargento Bridge. It's still Janney and
Ragster.
Janney and Ragster, yeah.
And Ragster popping out of line. Thought about an aggressive. He missed his braking point, able to avoid contact. He lost one, lost two. He's going to lose three. Oh, and off is your leader, Michael Janney.
That's huge implications. He pulled away too easily. Now we're gonna see, can he pull his way back? He has 45 minutes to do it, but I don't know if.
They both went way too deep there. Janney unable to join safely, and he's going to have to deal with GT3 slower car traffic if he wants to work his way back up to the front.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be moving to dead last. I mean, that's 46 cars to get through.
So further up in the field, though, that's going to open the door for Ray Kingsbury. Hashmi started 5th. He's up to 2nd, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, that's a really good start there, but I don't know. Can Savian Ragster? Oh, that's Savian Ragster? No, I don't. It is. Oh.
Yep, Ragster missed his braking point. He dropped to about 5th, but when his teammate lost it, he was able to make up ground. And fortunately, though, Renovo Racing, they do still have a dog in the fight. That car there of Kamal Hashmi for Apex Tech Racing, and of course Ray Kingsbury out front for Spark Last Lap Motorsports.
Yeah, I mean, just looking all the way back at Janney, he's caught real deep in GT3 traffic, and I don't know. I know they're 9 seconds faster, but he is going to lose a decent bit of time. Yeah, 42nd place he's in. I think it's going to be tough for him to come back from this, but if he's able to get into the top 10, then we'll really know. He was 5 seconds. He was a second a lap faster than everybody else during the sprint. I mean, I don't know the math there, but I'd say he's got his work cut out for him. And I mean, looking up front, it's just really obviously Ray's pulled away to a decent lead. There goes Kashmi. He's holding off Salvi and Ragster. Josh Clogg right behind them, about 5 car lengths.
Just such a great battle. It's interesting, the one thing that we have to remember is, yes, Ray Kingsbury is out front by a second, but he's not the only leader in this race. Looking back at Christian Challenger leading the GT3 class, the AM class. Right behind him is Jimmy Mullis. We talked about the damage that he picked up, and Anthony Burrows right on his tail as well. That Lamborghini is such a beautiful car. Brand new to the iRacing service, and my goodness, Anthony Burrows is making it fly today.
Yeah. So we have a fun fact here. Chalanet, Mullis, and Burrows are all pro drivers. I mean, they're either in the Pro Series or they're in the Coke Series. I mean, that's just to show the caliber of guys racing in this series. And I don't know, it's pretty crazy.
It's definitely exciting to see. And oh my goodness, right behind Peter Houston, that's Taylor Carroll, and a lot of contact here behind. Carnage down the long. That's out of the kink, down. Trying to figure out where that is on track.
No, Briar LaPrade. That's in the Kettle Bottoms.
Wow, just what an right behind where we were talking once again. It's not the first time we've had that happen tonight. Maybe we just need to stop talking about drivers and we can talk about something else, because whenever we bring up a driver or we're looking right in front of or behind somebody, my goodness, you see just cars coming out across the track and getting everybody involved. Look at that door open there for Nate Stewart. We were talking to him before the race. I know Victor is good friends with him, and he was really excited to get this season underway. He had that gap, just the Red Sea parted, and he was able to get through somehow. That's Nate Stewart now currently up to about 8th in class.
And Ray Kingsbury looking ahead to GTE. He's pulled out to almost a 2-second lead, but Ashby and Ragster, they're still fighting. Ragster wasn't able to clear him there.
Yep, Ragster got around Hashimi, Josh Clogg right behind, as well as Blake Reynolds. Those 4 cars running 2nd through 5th, those 4 cars. Biggest mover right now looks like Blake Reynolds. They're running 5th overall right now. He started 11th, so definitely working his way up through the field.
We knew he was going to be competitive by how he was in the sprint, but...
And Cody Erdman going wide. He's into the grass. He's able to recover safely. Gathers it back up, only loses 1 or 2 positions there.
And Matt Kingsbury, I think that's moved him up to 6th right now. He's the highest Ford in class. I mean, obviously we've seen that the Fords aren't exactly the most popular series, a popular car right now, but he's seen if he can up the trend.
Oh, and Ray Kingsbury up front. Something's happening. He's got a lot of damage to the right front. And he just lost it. He got a little bit of contact. It doesn't look like out of the carousel. Yep, doesn't look like he collected anybody else, but he did lose a lot of time and a couple of positions. I believe it was Ragster.
Just on the grass.
And he's down to 5th place, it looks like right now.
Yeah, and that's just that grass we were talking about. We mentioned it on the kink, but even coming out the carousel, it's just, you have to be careful when you're to not go over wide, because these cars are super sensitive to non-asphalt surfaces.
And that's a look at Christian Challoner up front, pulling away, but Jimmy Mullis and Anthony Burrows right behind. I mean, those guys are just looking fantastic out there. What a battle for P2 in the GT3 category.
Yeah, he's going to think better sending it into Canada corner, but let's see if he does anything down the front stretch. I mean, he's right in his tail end. It's just, that's when, if you know the true talent of a driver, if they're able to hold on right to the end of the tail end of a car, like maybe an inch between them, and they don't wreck. That's how you know a driver's good. So impressive to see.
What a great shot. What a great shot there from the roof of Anthony Burrows out the front at Jimmy Mullis. I mean, just, you can see him on entry gain so much ground, but the straightaway speed, the exit velocity of Jimmy Mullis, able to just pull right back away, able to gap him there, just going back and forth between these two with the gap.
Yeah, I mean, looks like Jimmy's got the better of him now, but that Lambo is pretty fast, is really fast. I'm not sure how they've changed it. Today we did get a new update.
And Jimmy got loose out of that corner. He's going to give at least 1 spot to Anthony Burrows. Peter Houston right behind trying to capitalize, but he is way too far back. He's about 10 seconds behind these guys for 4th. So that gap was 10 seconds at the line, or I'm sorry, 3 seconds at the line, about 2 seconds behind now. So did gain a little bit, but unfortunately not enough to really take advantage. Large gap out the front to P3.
We have a three car gaggle with 3 Corvettes. It's looking like Josh Clogg, Kamal Hashimi, and Blake Reynolds. Oh, moving to the inside is Kamal Hashimi. Yes. No, Josh Clogg. My apology. And he's got the advantage going into turn 3. Is he gonna get it? I think he is.
What a move there from Josh Clogg. That is actually for P2 in class, just in front of these guys, is Savy and Ragster leading overall. Renovo took the win in the sprint, and they're looking to pull away here in the feature as well. Ray Kingsbury, we talked about, he was leading at one point. He has now dropped all the way back to 5th, holding position there, and he is just lurking behind these 3 that are battling it out.
Checking into to Michael Janney, obviously had that incident on lap 1. He has moved up 25 spots, and I don't know. Yeah, he just got taken out by Flynn. If you saw that on the camera.
That is Flynn Lazier. Yeah, just slower class car, if I remember correctly, and able to avoid trouble, though, thankfully. That's Flynn Lazier in the 23.
Yeah, I mean, he's Michael Jennings now up to 21st, I believe.
Oh, and catching the curb there. That is Josh Clogg. He was running P2 in class. And he did the exact same thing coming out of the carousel that we saw from Ray Kingsbury. So that's going to give a spot both to Ray and basically most of the GTE classes are all running right there. One thing to note, right behind Ray Kingsbury is Matt Kingsbury. Those two are brothers. They are twins, in fact. You know what? I believe if you're the older one there, which is Ray, if I remember correctly, you always have to brag about winning at least one race.
Yeah, you gotta show superiority, I guess. And we are watching, again, a great battle between Kamal Hashmi and Blake Reynolds. He's got a decent, maybe a run. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do much into turn one. Obviously, Ray Kingsbury still just hanging on to the end of that. And Josh Clogg trying to also defend between him and Matt Kingsbury.
So Ray Kingsbury there, you see him running fourth. Rags are up last time by the stripe, 3.7 seconds. That's going to fluctuate, but I believe Savian Ragster's got this one. You know what? I'm not even going to say he's got this one. It's way too early to say that because we still have half an hour of racing, 35 minutes of racing, in fact, here in this feature race.
And wow, look at this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think one of those cars is a lap down. And the, oh, yes, I'm going back and forth between two things. Blake Reynolds is running a little bit different scheme on mine compared to the broadcast. Maybe I need to reload trading pages.
That's all right. Yeah, Hashimi and then Reynolds, Kingsbury, 2 through 4. Josh Clogg, he gets the grass coming through up to this long straightaway, but able to keep things collected. But right behind him now, Matt Kingsbury. Oh my goodness. Right on the back, looking out the back bumper there. That's the 0-6 behind. That is Blake Reynolds. Just trying to fight his way up through the field. Right on the back bumper of Kamal Hashi. Peeks it to the outside. It's going to be a long way around.
Oh, he's gonna
say, he thought about it. Is he there? No. The door closed by Hashimi.
And I don't think he was trying to make the move up there. I think he was trying to just intimidate him to make him think he was doing it, so he'd give him the lane. But obviously, Hashimi not intimidated.
And all that does is open the door for Ray Kingsbury. He was fifth. He started second, and now he's trying to claw his way back up front. And yes, Blake
Reynolds, the Coke Series driver.
One of multiple Coke Series drivers in this. I mean, further back in the field, Jimmy Mullis battling for third. And Hashimi is going to let him go. He might have had a slowdown. He gave up a ton of time, giving both Reynolds and Kingsbury a spot.
Yeah, I mean,
speaking of Coke drivers. Speaking of Coke drivers in this series, Christian Chandler leading the GT3s, Jimmy Mullis as well. Zach Novak struggling a little bit. Looks like he's had some issues, but just trying to log some laps. I was talking to him.
2019 champion.
Yeah, 2019 Coke Series champion. From talking to him yesterday about his expectations for this series, and really the biggest difference from talking to him between the GT and the Cup cars is grip. He knows it takes a different set of inputs, but one thing that he did mention, he's here to just log some laps on some of these tracks. I believe it's going to be 7 road courses on the Cup schedule next season, and that's going to put in a lot of work. So every lap that you can log, whether it's in the same car or not, is going to be huge coming from Zach Novak.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the high power that we're seeing now in the GT3s and GTEs, I think they're running about 500 horsepower.
This is further back. This is Anthony Burrows and Jimmy Mullis. They've been battling the entire race. It really feels like it's opened the door for Christian Chandler to pull about a 3-second gap. But my goodness, they're just playing bumper cars and running all over the place. And just great driving, great respectful driving we've seen from some of these guys at the top of both classes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of class we see. I mean, just you know, it takes a lot of control not to punt a guy, because obviously then we'd just be racing him forward. But it's nice to see that obviously we have good drivers with good standards and just the passion to want to go all out, but not wreck each other. Just like drive, like really just put it all, go 110%.
And an interesting thing to note there, you see him flashing in the background there. That is Michael Janney. We talked about him well before. He was running first. He started first and won the sprint race, but now he's got to work his way back up through the field. He's right behind Peter Houston and got some traffic to deal with.
Yeah, this will bring him up. Assuming he gets by them, this will bring... Assuming he gets by Burrows and Mullis, he's gonna be just outside of the GTE field. All I have to do is pass Christian Challenger. As
Yep.
Josh Clogg is dropping through the field. I guess he must have gone.
And he looks like he had a connection issue. He's been disconnected from the session. Unfortunate to see from him. My goodness, we've seen drivers having issues left and right. We saw it last night with the driver crashing just before the start of the Rallycross final, and oh, it's just unfortunate. You never want to see something like that happen to somebody, especially here in such a long and such a great event. And that's Kamal Hashimi. He was running P4 going through the grass. I believe it was just before one of the tunnels, or right after the hurry downs. Correct. I do want to thank. I do have to thank our producer, Victor Vallee. He's reminding me the names of all of these corners. There's so many. The only one I can remember are the kink and the carousel.
And then obviously they come through Canada. Blake Reynolds, I think he dropped back a little bit. Ray Kingsbury able to get to second. Did Sabian Bragster have any problems? Because he's dropped a little bit of distance between him and second. He's down to 2.1 seconds as of last lap. We'll see if that's shrinking a little bit.
And the one, we're not seeing. We're being told there might not have been any incidents there for Rags, or just solid pace from Ray Kingsbury, and that's interesting to note because we talked about it earlier. Ray Kingsbury out of the carousel, clipping the grass and losing the back end. He got the wall pretty good. That splitter on the right front is up pretty good, a noticeable amount, and it looks like, you know what, we saw him drive his butt off in Daytona at the end of last season just to manage that inaugural season championship. And my goodness, just what a race that he has put on. He's shown that he can drive very hard even with a damaged race car.
I found what happened to Sabian Ragster coming onto lap 7, coming into where he is right now. Actually, he looks like he locked up the brakes a little bit and he lost about 2 seconds there to the guys in second.
Fortunately, though, able to keep all 4 wheels on the paved surface, keep the car under control. Does lose some time. 1.5 seconds was the gap last time by the line. And we'll have to see if he can hold off this charging duo of Kingsbury and Reynolds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he can hold off 2 guys. I know he can definitely hold off 1. He's proven it before in the sprint race, but I don't know. Reynolds and Kingsbury, they're hungry. They want to win early on. They want to get this season off on the right foot. Coming through the kink, I mean, all depends. Did Kingsbury get a decent run? He might have.
Yeah, he's definitely able to hold off Reynolds, it looks like. The issue is going to be, can they catch the car in front of Sabian Ragster? Kamal Hashmi, they have a solid gap out the back of about 5 or 6 seconds. A couple gaps up towards the front of this field. You see a large gap out behind the Fanning as well. And then Jack Belton quite a ways behind, about 1.5 seconds or so, or a second behind Kevin Fanning. And then Matt Kingsbury, he's lost some ground. He was actually running 5th, and now you see they might have the same last name, but they're not running the same car. Matt Kingsbury running the Ford, and it's going to be the Corvette for his brother Ray.
Quite frankly, I don't really know what happened to Matt Kingsbury. I'm looking at the, if something happened on lap 9, he was at a 2:09, but I don't see where. Oh no, he coming up the hill into turn 6. It looks like he hit the wall. It cost him a good bit of time.
And thankfully, Thankfully, it is a longer season. Last time it was a short 6-race season, so not much room for mistakes. And we were being told by Victor Vallee, oh my God, oh wow, just as I was about to say, Ray was 0.3 faster last lap than Saving Ragster. He makes a mistake. Blake Reynolds tried to capitalize, but could not do it. He got to the inside, but could not clear the move, get the move done on exit. So it's still Ragster and then Kingsbury, then Reynolds.
I'm Kingsbury and Reynolds. I'm trying to beg the guy Reynolds to, like, come on, we can work together. We're making ground up on the leader. Let's fight this for the win and not for second.
And you might notice that that's a papaya orange livery there for Blake Reynolds. That is a Corvette, but as I understand correctly, there was at one point a partnership between Corvette and McLaren, and I believe. Yep, and it is correct. Blake Reynolds is running for Team McLaren in the iRacing Coca-Cola Series this season. Victor Vallee, our producer, knows everything. I don't know how he knows that. Oh, and the gravel goes Kingsbury. That's going to let Blake Reynolds by, and probably a smart move. Just, playing it safe. There's still a lot of time to go. Still about 24 minutes to go. And you saw a car in the grass. That's Travis Seymour, my former co-host here, color commentator. Travis, no, what are you doing? I know you wanted to win the Wreck-It Ralph award, but sir, that is not how you do it. You win it by taking other people out. Oh. Such a great guy. Great to see him out on the track this season. He's going to lose a bunch of positions there. He's pretty far down in the back, 34th overall, 20th in class. So just kind of, I guess he's got to work his way through. He's 2 laps down as well. So, I really feel for him, man. He's such a great guy and deserves so much better than to be this far back in the pack.
Yeah, we are approaching lap traffic for GTE. I mean, they're about 20 seconds behind EJ Foner, and then it's just there's about 30 seconds worth of about, I don't know, 10 lap cars. So that
and that's a look at the battle. That's the battle right there between Will Calhoun and Nate Stewart. They are battling for 5th and 6th in class. And that third car there, that's Levi Hensley, currently well back in the field. He is 6 laps down, 26th in the GT3 class.
Obviously, Christian Challoner has pulled his head to about a 4-second lead. Jimmy Mullins and Anthony Burrows still having a great battle. Like, neither one of them letting them out of their sights.
And a lot of respect there from Pandev as well. I know that he wants to get by, but he also has to let these guys race. He's in a faster car, but at the same time, with this battle right in front of him, it makes a ton of sense. Let them race it out. Let them do their thing. He doesn't want to get in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And we were being told Blake Reynolds last lap 0.2 of a second faster than Savian Ragster, your overall leader. And Ragster, he's losing. We were talking about Kingsbury losing or gaining a couple tenths before he went off track, and then I just saw it going into turn number 1. Ragster locking up his left front, so maybe having some brake issues, or maybe just missing his timing points, because you see the Kingsbury Reynolds train right behind. They are coming.
I wonder if we're seeing maybe Savian Ragster didn't put enough fuel in the car. I know we talked earlier off the stream about a lot of guys like to take chances on fuel. This could be one of those times where it's not going to pay off.
I really doubt it. From talking to Team Renovo, talking to these guys, they are a very smart group of drivers. They know what they're doing. I 100% guarantee there is no way it's going to come down to fuel for this team.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like even the best make mistakes, but so hopefully, I would hate to see it happen to Savian Ragster. He's run a great race here. He's just been out front all the time. I mean, if he was to lose it on something as fickle as fuel mileage, I don't think anybody could be going home happy at that team. They have such a great car, and I don't know. They got to perform with it though.
And it looks like we've got a little bit of a gap here. There was some lap traffic they were contending with. Blake Reynolds able to get by cleanly, and that gave him a little bit of a gap behind to Ray Kingsbury now. So Kingsbury has about a half-second gap to catch now between him and Reynolds in the 06.
Yeah, I mean, Kingsbury, he might just be biding his time at this point. I mean, he knows that Blake Reynolds is going to catch Savian Raxter, and he knows that they're going to slow each other down. So maybe he's going to try and just wait for them to come back to him instead of him having to burn up his tires and go towards them.
And this is back at just behind Ray Kingsbury. This is Kevin Fanning in the 68, Jack Belton behind in the 17, and that Matco Tool 17, just an incredible car. So good to look at. And some great liveries all behind, all throughout this field.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see. We were talking earlier about there weren't many Fords in the series, but obviously one of them now has moved his way up into 4th, maybe 5th now, as he seems like he's going to concede position to Kevin Fanning, or Jack Belton.
Belton just full sending it there into turn number 1 as we are just past halfway here at the opening round of the 2021 NASA GT Americas, presented by Simracer Coin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is Fanning maybe going to hold off? It seems like the Corvette has the better straight line speed than the Ford. Ford might be, I don't want to say, but it might be the weakest car in the series. But it doesn't mean it doesn't have his strengths. Like, look at how late he's able to brake there, and he's almost closed back up when he gets going into the hurry downs and up to these turns 6 and 7. I think he's going to be able to make up that time.
One thing to note, Ivan Pandev did get by Mullis and Burrows, so he is clear of that battle. Those two still duking it out. Christian Challenger, the next car in line. Yep, getting ready. You see him there. He just passed Christian Challenger. So the next car ahead of him would be 4th position on track.
He's got about 16 seconds to catch him. So. Michael Janney, we didn't talk about him. He's made his way into the top 10, and he is running down Marwan Mofta.
Yeah, Marwan Mofta running for Team Spark. They've Spark's been such a great sponsor of Spark Virtual Racing for this series for NASA overall, and we do appreciate their sponsorship, as well as Simracer Coin really coming on strong the last couple seasons as well. But those two guys got a little bit of a gap up front to Stephen Lane, about 8 seconds between, about 10 seconds between Lane and Mofta.
Yeah, and Michael Janney just put in his fastest clean lap of the race. He did run something about 0.2 faster, but I'm assuming it wasn't counted because of an off track. But yeah, 202.067. I think comparing that with Savian Ragster, who ran at 202.036 about 10 laps ago. He's obviously the one holding the pace a little bit better. Obviously, he's now in clean air. He's got about 10 seconds to the guy in front, so...
And the fastest lap overall of the race, by the way, Blake Reynolds, 201.714. Last lap, though, Savian Ragster, 202.525. Reynolds, 202.086. They are catching Savian Ragster.
Yeah, I mean, gap of only 5 laps ago was about 4 seconds. Maybe Savian Ragster trying to take it easy now. Maybe, I know he did have that mistake in turn 5. Maybe he wants to just take it easy, be careful, because that mistake can happen again and it might cost him.
Approximately 10 laps to go. Savian Ragster out front and Christian Challenger leading the GT3 field. Overall, we are just seeing some fantastic racing. Ragster, Reynolds, Kingsbury, Belton, and Fanning, the top 5 in GTE, as well as Challenger, Mullis, Burrows, Houston, and Nate Stewart, the top 5 in GT3s.
And we saw we're seeing a little bit of time drop off for Christian Challenger. His last 2 laps were a little bit slower than lap 11. He might be getting ready to lose a position to Mullis if Mullis is able to really hunker down these next couple laps. He ran a 206.876. The lap before, Christian Challenger ran a 207.37. So yeah, half a second between the two of them. I mean, we'd love to see a battle for the lead, especially between 2 drivers of their caliber.
Yeah, Ragster to Reynolds is about 7/10 last time by the stripe. We're going to wait to see what the gap is between Challenger and Mullis, because that gap is closing as well.
I mentioned earlier we're about to come into a big load of traffic. Is looking like Derek Holland. They've got maybe 6 seconds to Shane Sullivan. Who did he have problems earlier? Wait, or he did, yes. Him and Anthony Burrows are running the same scheme, so the Juice World Lamborghini.
So Challoner just looking out from behind his car. The next one behind is Jimmy Mullis in line, and you can see that gap. It kind of comes and goes, but looks like really starting to have to push now. Maybe his fuel calculations were not right. I really do trust him to get it right. He's a very experienced driver. He does run for iRacing. I'm just trying to figure out why he would give up this much time to Jimmy Mullis and Anthony Burrows.
Right, I'm sorry, Blake Reynolds right to the back of Savian Rankster. We might see a move going into the kink. He's a little bit lower in the carousel. He's gonna, I think Savian Rankster gonna get the run off, but he's gonna have that draft going into the kink. So all about who's gonna lift the leash now, and if they can make a run into Canada Corner. Looks like Savian Rankster barely tapped the brakes there as they come to the kettle bottoms.
And it looks like it sounded like the tires were just screeching off Ragster's car, but he kept it flat out, kept the engine revs up, tapped the brakes to make sure it could rotate, and kept things rolling. But what a battle we have here for the overall lead.
I mean, Blake Reynolds, I don't know. I think not the Lamborghini, the Ferrari might just have a little bit more straight line speed, but the Corvette, it does according to Victor, but I don't know, that Corvette is just so fast in the corners, and it's really good in the good at getting the downforce down, and really just, I think that's why we saw the big run in the kink, but no real follow-up to it.
Yeah, that's something that we hammered pretty good last season. And going up right up front, that is Shane Sullivan in the 091. He is currently running 12th in the GT3 class, 26 overall. He's going to lose a ton of spots there, but that thankfully does not impact the battle for the lead. Dragster and Reynolds make it through clean. And I'm sure that Ray Kingsbury running third is just licking his chops. He can see this directly in front of him. I'm sure he's just there waiting for these guys to battle and open some sort of door and let him at least gain some time on these two.
Again, I think he's saving his tires right now. He wants to have the grip for the next 15 minutes of the race? 13 minutes. We have 13 minutes and 25 seconds left. I mean, that's about 7 laps. I mean, a lot can happen then. I think if he has the tires, he can make his way up there.
I know that they say time flies when you're having fun, but what is this? I mean, time is not just flying by, it's going supersonic. I don't know where the last half hour is gone, but I don't want these final 15 minutes to end.
I don't know. I mean, these final 15 minutes, they're gonna put on a hell of a show here. Blake Reynolds right to the end. There's a ton of traffic. They're gonna encounter that right going into Canada Corner. Can Blake Reynolds take advantage of that? Look at Savian Rankster, got a little bit loose coming through the kettle bombs. Now, but I don't know if he has the room to make a move into Canada Corner. Obviously, that Audi in front's got a little bit of wing damage. He's gonna hold the inside.
That's Brandon Lambert there in front of them, just going to let these guys go. I think he realizes what they are battling for, and he almost makes it through. There is some contact there as well. Reynolds got into the back of Ragster, trying to just, it looks like the door was open there from Lambert, and Ray Kingsbury right there to take advantage as well. These top three battling overall in, my goodness, I don't even know what to say. That move from Reynolds, it looks like,
Blake Reynolds, that might have paid off for Blake Reynolds, though. I mean, he's right on the back bumper. He's not losing as much ground as he did before.
Yeah, Lambert just nowhere to go there. There was a 1 1/4 car length gap there for Reynolds to take, and it closed up too quick. But fortunately, no harm, no foul, and going around the outside.
I didn't think he was going to make that stick, but I think that Ferrari there is going to be able to get him back going into turn 5. Ragster has had the advantage coming down the straightaways. There he goes. Look
there you see the straightaway speed. Watch the mid-corner speed from Blake Reynolds. Is he going to be clear? He is. Blake Reynolds going to go to the outside. He's going to do the mid-corner, and he's cleared again. What an incredible battle between Reynolds and Ragster.
Don't count Ragster out again. Just look at this. We have a lap car right in front. That's going to hold up Blake Reynolds.
Yeah, that's Kieran Forrest right in front of them, and fortunately, he's a smart racer. He's just going to let them go by. He's not going to put up any sort of fight. He can see on his relative that these guys are 1 and 2 overall. Going to let them go and let them battle it out.
Yeah, look at Ray Kingsbury. You see, I told him he was playing this game right. He's already back up to Sabian Ragster, and based on what he was running before, he's actually faster than Blake Reynolds overall. Blake Reynolds ran a 2:01.713 lap 3, and then Ray Kingsbury ran a 2:01.663 only 3 laps ago. So I think he's really relying on this battle, and he's ready to go for this next 10 minutes.
Yeah, and Blake Reynolds, we saw just that slightest bit of contact between him and Ragster when they were dealing with that lap car. The front right splitter on his car now just slightly bent up. It's not too noticeable, but it is there. That might impact his downforce just a little bit, and these Corvettes really rely on that front downforce. Get the front tires to bite, and that's how they get their mid-corner speed.
Nate Stewart, we were hearing news has fallen back. Yeah, he was started 24th overall. He's sitting 23rd. Apparently, he dropped back from 9th though, and
he was running 5th in class, dropped back to 9th. I know Victor has some ties to that car, so he's keeping a close eye on him all race long. As he's going to let these are the leaders there that he's going to let by.
I wonder is Sabian Ragster going to have a run? I mean, we know that car is fast. It's all about, he's going to send it.
And he really had to chop the nose there. Ragster had to almost locked up the brakes. And the unfortunate thing for Ray Kingsbury, now he has to deal with that car of Nate Stewart.
It doesn't look like he's going to give him too much of a problem. He's only 5 car lengths back coming into the hurry down.
Just a fantastic
battle. Ray Kingsbury. Just a small error, and that might cost him any run that he was going to get down to Kettle Downs, or not to the hurry downs.
One thing that I've noticed about Ray Kingsbury, everybody likes to push the limits and kind of find the edge of the track. Kingsbury doesn't care about finding it. He knows where it is, and he just sends it to it, and maybe sometimes a little beyond, but he knows how to catch his race car. He's got great awareness of what his car can do and can't do, and even with that damage, he's doing a great job of keeping it competitive.
That we have a great run by Sabian Ragster. He's gonna close up a ton going into Canada corner. All he has to do is hold that gap. Oh, Blake Reynolds in the grass in the dirt a little bit. Oh, can Sabian? And
he thought about sending it to the outside and thought better of it. Tucks back in line, and Ray Kingsbury now up the inside. No. 3 car. This is the first time we've seen GTEs in GT Americas. This is the first time we've seen GT3s in GT Americas. And that battle for 2nd and 3rd between Mullis and Burrows is tight. But this battle up front, we've got 2 Corvettes and a Ferrari. And Ragster peeking to the inside. Can he hold them off though? No. That's going to be Reynolds, Ragster, Kingsbury, nose to tail your front 3 overall.
Ragster's got to know he's faster on the straightaway, but he's got to make sure he has a definitive lead. He can't be sending it in, especially with all the opportunities to have. Obviously, a very fast circuit. There he goes.
Blake Reynolds just flashing his lights, making sure that the lap traffic knows who he is and knows that they're there. And he's going to route. That's the 4 car of Clark Archer running wide, making sure he stays out of these guys' way. And all this is going to do is tighten up that battle between 2nd and 3rd Ragster and Kingsbury. That's Flynn Lazier there. We mentioned him earlier in the broadcast as well. Clipping the grass, maybe too much. Flynn Lazier then runs wide. And all this does is open the gap back up. Oh, Flynn Lazier cuts right in front of P2 Sabian Ragster.
I can't believe that.
No, if you're Sabian Ragster, you can't be happy with that. Oh, look at this gap though that Lazier is opening for Ragster. Oh, and wait. Could that be Team Motors? These are both smart cars. They are 3 wide, and Kingsbury's got the spot. Could that be Team Motors?
I think that's a travesty. I'll tell you. Look at I think
that this has opened up for Kingsbury behind.
I think Lazier needs something needs to happen to Lazier. I don't want to get biased, but I don't. At that point, we got 5 laps to go. You're not.
I know he's just trying to hold track position, but still at the same time, you cannot be getting in the way just because somebody might be your teammate. I'm not sure that there were actual orders given, but at the same time. You need to know what is going on around you on track. So Blake Reynolds now about a 2.2 second gap. It was 2.2 at the line, and then from 2.2 is basically 1.6 from Kingsbury to Ragster. And what was at first such a great battle, these three cars nose to tail, a lapped car unfortunately spreads them all back out.
We do have a couple lap cars coming up still. Among them, Zach Novak, 2019 NASCAR Coca-Cola Series champion, as I know we've mentioned before. But he is having just a quiet day, running, I believe, 5th overall. Great run for him.
And further back, you're talking about Coke Series drivers, Christian Challoner still. He's got a 4.5 second lead over Jimmy Mullis. And then Anthony Burrows right behind. So we've got Challoner, Mullis, Burrows over in the GT3 side. And about a second gap there between second and third, Mullis and Burrows.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, fortunately, a lot of the battles have fizzled out, come to the end. But maybe Mullis and Burrows can reignite that. It's just all about how Burrows manages to catch Mullis. But again, we're 40 minutes into this race. If you don't have tires now, you're not going to get him again. You have to really conserve him with, I mean,
yeah, and that's the thing.
It's not triple stint worthy, but it's a lot. And here comes
that's the thing about this GT America Series. There is no pit stop. You don't need to take fuel. It's just get your setup the way you want it, and hopefully it holds up over the long run. You know, I know we talk about how we have a 15-minute sprint race, but even this 45-minute can feel like a sprint for what these cars normally do. I know next weekend we will have these cars as well as some LMP1s, LMP2s, multi-class racing at Daytona, the 24 hours of Daytona here on iRacing.
I'll be running that.
We've got some guys that are going to be joining at a lot of them in this series, doing a great job, and we will have a great event. I know I will be with some of the Spark guys. I know Ray Kingsbury and the Kingsburys and a lot of the guys on the Spark Racing teams. We'll be running it to raise money on my Twitch channel for the Fox Foundation for Parkinson, and this is a battle further back in the pack. This is the battle between Mullis and Burrows.
Yeah, well, I say before, Burrows had to really crunch hard to catch him, and he's definitely done that. I don't know if maybe Mullis made a mistake though.
Yeah, it was 9/10 of a second, and it looks like it's
just all about
can
he get the run through the kink? That's the most important passing zone on the track. If you don't get that right, and it looks like Mullis just got the better run. Anthony Burrows is just gonna have to settle down and hope for a better run.
Yeah, that's Burrows in the 62, Mullis in the 40. This is second place in GT3, and what a battle it's been. It's not like it's one of those where all of a sudden it's Burrows out of nowhere and it's all of a sudden an exciting battle. These guys have been fighting the entire race, the entire time. They started, Mullis started third, Burrows started second in class off the start. Challoner pulls away, and these two just kept at it the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, and look at this now. Anthony Burrows might be able to get the run, but it looks like he's going to bide his time a little bit. He knows it's a better passing zone going into turn 5. He can just hold on to the back of Jimmy Mullis.
And talking about the gap to P1 in class, Christian Challoner. Last lap, Christian Challoner, 206.999. Mullis, 208.4. So definitely that gap is growing for Challoner and pulling away.
I believe are we taking 2 laps to go here, I believe.
This might be the white flag here for Blake Reynolds. This is the move, going back and forth there, back to the GT3 of Mullis and Burrows. Burrows gets around him, but leaves the inside open for Mullis. Running wide just a little bit was Anthony Burrows. He's going to hold the position. Trying the cutback move is Mullis can't get it done. He's still peeking the nose, and he's going to swing the long way around. Is he going to send it there? He is not. And it's Burrows.
I think he's the best chance he's got now is coming down to Kettle Bottoms. I mean, into Canada Corner. You have to make sure you get a decent gap because you don't want to lose on the straightaway, but on the main straight. But I don't know. It's all going to come down to if he can get this run
flat
here.
out through the kink. It's going to be Burrows clipping the corner, maybe a little too much on the inside. A slight run from Mullis, but it's Burrows still holding the spot with about a 4-car length advantage.
He didn't need a big run here, though. He just needs to get closer. His big move passing zone is going to be that second straightaway.
This lapped car in front of that is Steve Brown in the Mercedes. He's got a bunch of damage both to the right side and the rear end of that car. He's gonna have to pull out of the way here at some point. The gap is closing up, and that's gonna be Burrows sending it to the inside. And hopefully he leaves the door open. And you can see there that was Mullis in the draft as long as possible. No lift from Jimmy Mullis, gonna send it around the long way through turn number 1. Very defensive line from Burrows. Side by side into turn number 1. Still side by side on exit. Better exit there for Mullis, and he's gonna get the spot right back.
I think Burrows is gonna have to really get a good run down here. I think it's
somehow that's turn number 3 they just went through. Right behind them, we were talking about that lapped car of Steve Brown. He lost and went into the grass. And so this is the white flag.
Yeah, race winner.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
Wow, we're still focused on this battle. Let's still focus here on this battle between Burrows and Mullis for second position. And they're battling right back. It's going to be Mullis. Is it going to be Burrows?
He's going to have to send it to the outside here or cross over. Oh, no. Oh, he's going to try it. He's got the run. No point in racing down the hurry downs because you do have to make sure you can hold off through the carousel. So, I don't know. He might have the advantage here.
The battle is still on for second position. That is Jimmy Mullis out in front of these two cars right now. That's Anthony Burrows right behind. We're on board out the nose of Anthony Burrows.
This is the last chance.
And Christian Challoner really starting to just run away with it. This battle, though, is so exciting between Burrows and Mullis. They come through the kink down
too much.
And running really deep there was Mullis. Burrows trying to capitalize.
The only chance I think he has now is if he gets a great run off that final corner, and even then I think this is Mullis' race to lose.
Could we be side by side at the line? 1 corner to go. Thinking about going up the inside, just full sending it was Burrows, but no, he's going to be their side as they come to the line for second place. That's Mullis with the advantage. It's Mullis going to peek out of the draft. The slipstream not going to work. It's going to be Jimmy Mullis at the line.
Finish.
Oh my goodness! What a battle between Mullis and Burrows, and immediately over the radio, Anthony Burrows congratulating and saying nice battle there to Jimmy Mullis.
That is one of the best battles I've ever seen at this track. I think both of those guys should be proud of their performances. Obviously, our race winner, Blake Reynolds, unfortunately, we weren't looking at him when he won it because that battle was just kept catching our eye. It was incredible to watch.
Incredible racing that we saw overall. Let's go ahead right now and we will bring in the overall winner, Blake Reynolds. Blake, what an incredible race that you had there. You took the season opener here at Road America. Just what are your thoughts overall with that battle between yourself, Kingsbury, and Ragster?
Sorry, what?
What was that battle like there between you and Kingsbury and Ragster throughout the last about 15 or so laps?
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. Hang on, let me get a mute. This chat's so loud.
Yeah, I'm having that problem too.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. I was kicking myself because there was that GT car in the sprint race, and I was in fourth, and I thought the rule was, if your lap car holds your line. And he moved over as I moved over, and then I got stuck in the grass. And when I went to turn away, it went straight into the barrier, and I was gutted. I think I finished 12th. I started 12th in this race, and then
11th. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, this thing, it had a lot of pace. Not in the straightaway, unfortunately. You would think I would want to bring a straightaway set, but oh my goodness, that sucked in the straightaway. But I made up.
Yeah, I
like,
know
I made up like a tenth the corner. I don't know what happened. I gotta thank Ray Kingsbury for that set. I'm not sure what he did not give me, but obviously mine was better. So, I mean, wow. And then that battle with that Ferrari, I don't even know his name. I wasn't even looking.
Savian Rangster.
Okay, yeah. What a battle with that guy. He had all the straightaway speed, but I'd get him under braking, and then I felt like I did. There's that move. I think Lewis and Kimmy at Spa in like 07, 08, something like that.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know, but like I was Pog champion when I made that move.
Now,
was a-
just so you
real
know,
quick,
by
can
the
I say
way.
something?
Yep.
No, there was a friend of mine. I was talking to him about this. He's like, "You need to, I want you to sneak a Poggers or a Pog champ in." And thanks for that for me.
Yep. Anything to get the Pog champ moments in there.
By the way, just so you're aware, I know that this is your first season here in NASA GT Americas, if I remember correctly. Ray Kingsbury last season, first overall in the Drivers' Championship. Savian Ragster last season, second in the Drivers' Championship. And
yikes.
that came down to a tiebreaker.
Oh, that gives me a lot of pressure, and I don't think I can amount to that because that performance came out of nowhere. I don't know what to tell y'all. I was helping a buddy, 15 minutes before the race. I was helping a buddy do the Xfinity car at Mid-Ohio, and I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot I have a league race. And then I joined midway through the driver's briefing, and then here I am. I qualified good. I found some pace, and I'm here, top of the podium. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Where do you think you're gonna go for the rest of the season? You think you're gonna be able to replicate it, or?
I have no idea. I mean, Ray told me this car sucks on the straight line, but I don't know what to think now. I'm excited to go to a place like Lime Rock or a Long Beach where I do have pace.
Lime Rock we saw on the schedule last season. It's not on the schedule this season, but next week we've got Canadian Grand Prix from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. What's your thoughts on that track coming up?
I don't race that track too often. I wish they would scan it, get the pavement right, because I feel like the grass in turn 2 ruins it. But it's a fun track. The Road to Pro goes there, so I get to race the trucks there. That's really the only time I get to watch or race it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I know the track pretty well.
And as we wrap things up here, Blake, anybody you'd like to thank? Anybody you want to shout out here on the broadcast?
Well, I'll thank Ray Kingsbury. He did everything for me. He made my paint scheme. He made my helmet for y'all. Gave me the setup. I don't know what his league team is called, but I'll thank them. Obviously, they put something together that's pretty good. So I'll thank them. And then, of course, y'all, the broadcast network that I now have to learn your name, ASN TV USA.
That's correct.
That's y'all. I'll thank y'all for broadcasting the race. And my future team that I cannot announce yet in the Coca-Cola series, I guess I'll thank that.
Well, you're racing here under Dead Zone Racing. So, hey, thanks for joining us here in the booth. And, yep, and congratulations to you. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. This time, though, different track. We'll see you at Canadian Motorsports Park.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you. That is Blake Reynolds, the winner of the overall and GTE category here at Road America. Next up, we are going to bring in the winner of the GT3 class, a driver that I know very well, and I am not surprised to see him here, Christian Challoner, the winner of the GT3 category here at Road America. Christian, congratulations.
Thank you. There was a moment, well, I say a moment, it was more about half the race where I actually thought I'd screwed up and I hadn't put enough fuel in the car, so that was, that was interesting. I kind of expected the GTE guys to lap us, but I pretty much realized that wasn't going to happen. And then I was looking at my scoring and thinking that I was going to run out of gas, but then I got the white flag because it ran out of time. So I guess I should have paid attention to more things.
Yeah, we saw you kind of pulling away, and then the gap kind of closed up to the cars behind you. I don't know if you were able to see out your rearview mirror. Molis and Burrows were putting on a tough show for second. They were side by side pretty much at the line. But what are your thoughts here in the competition in the GT Americas?
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I actually spoke to Jimmy and Zach and tried to convince them to come and race this, and those guys agreed to sign up. And for sure, I know that they're good road racers, and obviously Anthony was close all race long. One guy I was kind of upset to see have that moment in the sprint race, so that we didn't get that battle in the feature, was Shane Sullivan. He was obviously very quick. Unfortunately, didn't get to have that battle because that would have been pretty cool to have two BMWs versus two Lamborghinis at the front. I definitely think he had the pace for it.
Yeah, we've been kind of talking about. We had the update today as well in iRacing for the to some of these cars, balance of power for the 24 hours as well. I mean, overall, what are your thoughts both between this GTE and GT3 classes?
Are you meaning general bop comments on
Yes,
kind of what was
correct.
changed today? So really, it was only really very fine adjustments to things. It wasn't kind of massive swings on anything. Um, it was really just to pull the class a little bit closer. The class was already really close anyway. I know that I've done enough testing on it to know that the class is definitely very very close. So a lot of the update today was mainly just equalizing fuel mileage in normal situations. All the cars around Spa, they're all equalized to within point 0.1 point 0.1 laps worth of fuel, so to speak, over a run. So very very equal in terms of fuel mileage now. That was a weakness before. It's now been resolved. In terms of overall pace, really it was just to give the front engine cars a little bit of a boost. But when I say a little bit of a boost, it was really very 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 minor. So that's yeah, I think it's helped. I don't think it changed the result here for sure. I think if I'd have ran the Lamborghini, or even if say something like the Ford GT was available, I think the battle would have still been close at the front. So realistically, no big swings there.
Yeah, we talked about the battle, behind you guys and the competition overall. I know that you've ran a lot of laps here at Road America. Next week, though, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. What are your thoughts there on that track?
Most of it's pretty fun. It's a really wicked track. Obviously, there's a lot of fast flowing corners. I kind of saw tonight that especially through corners like the kink, it's pretty easy to make a very big mistake and go off and obviously destroy your race. Especially at motorsport, that's even more of a concern, I would say. Obviously, high speed corners. This track is predominantly low downforce, I would say. I was actually a little bit surprised. Some of the Lamborghinis we were up against, it was quite easy to get by them on the straightaways. I wasn't really fully understanding why that was, because I guess they just ran more wing than we did. I know that in terms of straight line performance, the cars are very, very equal with the same wing settings. So I can just assume the Lamborghini guys ran more wing, and you could see it in the carousel. They would kind of run through there, pull a gap on us. But in a race situation around a track like this, where it's predominantly slow speed corners, you really always want the wing trimmed out because it just makes racing easier. But then we go to motorsport. That's going to be pretty challenging because the only place to pass realistically is down the backstretch with a big toe. So it's yeah, that again, it's a case of do you run less wing there to have straight line speed to be able to pass? Because especially at that track, you're going to lose out a lot of lap time if you trim the wings out.
Yeah, Christian, congratulations on your win. Anybody you want to thank? Any final thoughts on your first ever race here in NASA GT Americas presented by Simracer Coin?
I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the event. It was really fun. It's really actually cool for me to be able to come and race this. It's pretty chilled out league. I've had a lot of fun since I've been involved with it, and hopefully it will continue to be that way. It's something nice for me to come and race on a Thursday night where I can race seriously, but it's still for fun. So thank you guys for putting on the event and for you guys doing the broadcast.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys driving as well. I will see you in your Twitch stream on Sunday. But yeah, Christian Chandler, congratulations on the class win here at the Area 52 Designs Grand Prix at Road America. I do have one last quick interview that I want to bring in here. Jimmy Mullis finished second there in the GTM class. And my goodness, what was that battle like with about, I don't know, the last 10 or so laps? It seemed like you were battling really, really hard with Anthony Burrows.
Yeah, me and Anthony, we brawled pretty much that whole race. It just got really close there at the end. Shout out to him. That was honestly really, really fun. The whole race was really, really glad I signed up for this league because it's exceeded my expectations a lot. And it's fun trying to figure out how to go as fast as Christian. But
He spends
yeah,
too much time in this car. I mean, let's be honest.
oh, I know. Trust me, that's his excuse too. Because I'm sitting here asking him, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, why are you so fast?" He's like, man, I just spent a bunch of time in it, which, I get it, but Christian, he's a beast no matter what car or class or, where you're at on this service. So, like I said, though, it was really a lot of fun getting to battle with Anthony that whole race and, kind of see who got lucky with the traffic. And luckily I was able to come out on top of him.
Yeah, it
You
was.
two looked completely equal in that during that last battle. I mean, neither one of you really seemed to get the advantage. It's just cars, even though you were both running different car. I mean, you were in the BMW and he was in the Lamborghini. Just great fighting between the two of you, and I mean, that's great to see for balance of power's sake.
Oh, absolutely. I think, everything's pretty close. So, yeah, it was good to see. And that makes it more fun, too, where, there's not a single car that's better everywhere. It's nice to be able to, race anyone in any class pretty much. So, yeah, like I said, that was awesome.
Yeah, we've got a couple of you guys that are in the Coke Series coming over here and running this. I know I talked to Novak, and he said that a lot of the reason for him running this is to get to know some of these road courses that you guys are going to see coming up in next season's Coca-Cola iRacing Series. What are your thoughts both on the overall schedule as well as kind of what brought you over here? I know Christian kind of gave you a shout out in his interview.
Yeah, Christian is the one who, pointed me to this league. And I've always wanted to find something, to just road race. I do genuinely enjoy it. I just, I wanted to find something to kind of commit to and kind of race for points in. And like I said, Christian pointed me to this. And I think the schedule, like Zach even brought up, it fits well where, we can get some track time, for the upcoming races in the Coke Series this year. I know we go here, and I think there's maybe one or two more tracks on our schedule for this league that, the Coke Series goes to. So it never hurts to get laps in. And I think this is going to be a great tool for that.
Yeah, we're here, and we also have Coda and the Charlotte Roval wrapping up the season. But overall, I mean, just some great tracks next week. I pretty much ask everybody this, but next week we're at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. What are your thoughts there?
Big fan of that track. Me and Christian, I know he didn't bring it up, but me and him had a huge battle in a official race there about a year ago now, and it's what really kind of turned my head towards the road racing stuff as far as GT stuff is. And yeah, I really look forward to that race and hope that I can give him a good fight.
I know that these cars and Cup cars are completely different, but can you translate anything over between the two? And if so, what kind of helps you from one to the other?
I think with the BMW, it honestly handles a lot like a stock car. You got to be
Is that
pretty.
an insult?
No, not at all. I just think as far as the way that I was driving it, I couldn't really go too aggressive under braking, and I had to really be patient in terms of where I picked up the power, because if you pick it up too fast, it'll just wheel hop on you, and then you'll start getting the traction control to grab, and when you do that, you lose time. So it definitely has some characteristics that kind of match up, and I'm glad I picked the BMW because I think that's probably the only car that does drive like that. So yeah, it's worth to have something that's close in relativity when it comes to that.
And last but not least, I ask this one to everybody that joins us here in the booth. Anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs for you?
Yeah, for sure. Huge thanks to Christian, not only for inviting me, and also for the setup tonight. That thing was a rocket down straightaways. I know that was probably getting on Anthony's nerves. Huge shout out to Richmond Raceway Esports. We announced that myself and Zach have returned to the team for this year today. So, big shout out to them. Big shout out to Sunoco and SimSeats, and everybody that is a part of our deal. And thanks to you guys for all you do. And look forward to next week.
Congratulations on second place finish, and thank you for putting on such a great show in our opening round this season.
Thanks, buddy.
That is Jimmy Mullis, driver of the number 44. What a great show we saw all around. I mean, incredible battles from start to finish. We had that battle between Mullis and Burrows. We saw Christian Challenger kind of run away with the class. And then we saw the Blake Reynolds, Kingsbury, and Ragster battle towards the end as well. Any final thoughts on your first action that you've caught live here, Mike, in the GT Americas?
I'll tell you, exceeded my expectations. I mean, We really just had battles all over the place, and even though unfortunately we didn't get to see the battle of our dreams for the lead in GTE, I think what we did see is, if it's a glimpse towards the future, then it's a very promising glimpse.
What a incredible race. I've said it time and time again, but NASA GT Americas presented by Simracer Coin has put on a great show, and we'll be back next week at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for the Canadian Grand Prix. That's 1 week from today, going live at about 8:30. I know we had some technical issues tonight with some iRacing stuff that kind of delayed our start, but overall, we still put on a great show. We have to thank all of our sponsors, from Simracer Coin to Red Kite, Spark Virtual Racing, iDrive Sim Training, R Design, Renovo, Slipstream, everybody that's kind of helped put this show on. Definitely have to give a huge thanks to Victor Vallee, our producer. He did a great job tonight, and we'll see you guys both next Wednesday for Rallycross and next Thursday at 8:30 for NASA GT Americas, presented by Simracer Coin. For everybody here at the Automotive Sports Network, I am Chad Irvine. We will see you next week. Drive safe.